You do, yeah. So it's a month thing to be given in Everybody ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
With rock, paper, star?
Yeah.
Right. Happy Halloween to everyone. And welcome to another awesome Power Lunch. Who's ready and excited for another awesome Power Lunch?
Hey.
Let's hear it from Park.
Well, come on, wait. We can do better than that in this room.
There you
The
go.
other rooms have to be doing it too. Like,
Woo! Here we go. Woo! Woo!
yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa with Office Centers, and I want to welcome all of you here at our St. Louis Park location, as well as our other 6 locations, to another fantastic Power Lunch. I am so excited. We are honored and thrilled to have Kathy Paper in the house with us.
Hey.
We are a favorite. We go back a long time, and a near and dear. And I have the privilege of introducing her to all of you. So Kathy has a list this long of her accomplishments. She's a mondo biondo, over-the-top individual. Kathy is the founder of Rock Paper Star, a boutique consulting firm that specializes in coaching, marketing, and promotion for individuals, business owners, or executives by offering creative ideas to improve process and performance. Kathy has coached executives and managers at Best Buy, Paramount Pictures, John Deere, and Apple, as well as many, many Minnesota-based privately held companies and service firms. With energy and enthusiasm, and Kathy has that, she shares her networking savvy and marketing skills to guide leaders to define and reach goals for their teams and for their organizations. Come on in. Her naturally competitive nature is inspiring and contagious. She's like a runner, a rugby player, rugby, impressive, and a Minnesota State tennis doubles champion. She's earned a BA at Williams College, holds a master's degree in organizational development from the University of not Minnesota, St. Thomas. Okay. She's a national speaker, a columnist for the American City Business Journals, a Forbes Council coach, a winner of this is really cool, and our owner was one of these too, the Minnesota Business Magazine's Real Power 50. That's huge. And then this is a biggie, the National Association of Women Business Owners. It's the Women on the Way Award, and it's given to a woman business owner who has demonstrated ahead of the curve achievement for herself and her company. With that, everyone, let's give her a big woohoo warm welcome, and we're welcoming Kathy.
Virtual people. I'm going to try to just every once in a while jump outside of the field just to make Amanda nervous, and then sometimes come back. So the group in here at Park, you can just sort of know I'm just doing it to be a little naughty because it's Halloween. So we will. At the end, do we get candy? Because I'm doing this for, the candy. So those of you that are having pizza at your locations, enjoy. I'm super casual. You've got a handout in front of you that I'm going to take you through several portions of it, because you all came here to talk about how do you build relationships, how do you network for impact. So before we begin, I just want you to think for a minute about the word networking, okay? And I did a survey of 350 people and found people do not like the word networking. It makes them uncomfortable, it feels salesy, it's difficult, it feels awkward. I think it's right up there with, online dating, and it makes people nervous, but yet they know they need to do it. So you're trying to figure out what to do. So what I recommend is all those thoughts you have about networking that are negative, take them and put them over out of the frame, on the side of the whiteboard, put those words over there. Like visually just go, you know what? We're not going to talk about networking in the yucky sense. We're going to talk about networking in the how do we build relationships. Okay, so that's my first request. It's just all those things about bad experiences. You remember the person where you called them by the wrong name, or you did all those things that you're like, oh, that's why I don't like to go to events. Put that aside, okay? So I've got a few slides to take you through, and I'll try not to block them for people. Like I said, the light, I think it might actually be that the battery is low. So I've been thinking about networking for more than 15 years. And partly it was out of whether it was a job search or looking for new business or finding allies and partners. And when I think about networking, I'd ask you to think, are you a pebble or are you a rock? When you show up and you connect with people, are you a pebble or are you a rock? And either one is fine. But knowing which you are and how you want to show up is the first step to really thinking about when I network, what am I doing? What kind of a ripple am I making? How are other people remembering me? You know, pebble, it's fine, but maybe you're not the one who comes in and blah, I'm here, da da da. If you're a rock, you may do that, but you know what? Sometimes being the rock, you make a big splash and not everybody gravitates to that. So knowing what you're about, welcome. So knowing what you're about is there. So what I'd ask you to do is just for the first couple minutes, turn to the person next to you, introduce yourself, tell them why you're here, and if you feel comfortable, which networking often doesn't feel quite comfortable, let them know. I'm a pebble. I'm out of my comfort zone. Or I'm a rock, and you know what? This room is not big enough for me. I want to meet all of you, and can't we go any faster? Let's keep going, blah, blah, blah. So take 2 minutes and talk to the person next to you, grab another slice of pizza, and then we'll circle back. Hello. No whistle needed. She can do it. Okay. Okay, Russ, can you do the whistle?
Was there a whistle?
The whistle. Somebody can always do the whistle. I can't do the whistle. So in larger groups, we use the whistle. Smaller groups, we can circle back. So in your rooms, maybe somebody's building the whistle. Okay. So pebble or a rock? Why are we here networking?
We're just having
Get better. Maybe. Let's have to blame you.
I don't know.
Just give me the next.
You want another one? Yeah, I got mine right here.
Well, because the little green light doesn't stay on, but can you give me the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know one right here.
Talk to
Hey,
me.
you want one?
Casey's gonna grab you batteries. We should-
I got
So
that.
here you got a handout. See, I love you. Super prepared. You have that little handout here. I in the park room were printed on envelopes because I printed on envelopes right when I was starting my business because it was a lot more affordable than going to Kinko's and having it done. So I have this on an envelope. I have other handouts on an envelope. I had like 10,000 envelopes made because it was like $87, and rather than making 50 at the time, it seemed like a smart thing to do. So you have an envelope in here. Today we're going to cover 4 of these areas. We're going to go for what's your goal when you think about networking. We'll go into more detail, but we're going to cover your goal. We're going to talk about some of the keywords of what do you want to be known for, so that pebble or a rock, what do people remember? What's that ripple that you leave? And then thinking about who's your top 25. Who are the people that will say your name to other people, help spread the work that you're trying to do, or who are the people that will help be referral sources for you or partners in your business, having that top 25. And then we'll talk about some actions. So we got a lot to get through in 45 minutes, but just a little anchor for you of what we're doing. We'll take the next one. Again, why I say envelopes is, does anybody know what this is? Gave it away. It's a printing press for envelopes. Harvey McKay, who's based in the Twin Cities, has been a client that I've worked with for years. And when we first started to work together, I went out to the printing press because I love seeing the envelopes go flying off the press. I wanted to see what they did. I wanted to see how it worked, who their customers were, something really tangible for it. And again, they were just starting to go into customers selling directly. They only done corporate when we first started working together, and it was fascinating to me. And Harvey has always had goals. He's a very well-known motivational speaker, but having a goal, they print 25 million envelopes per day. Okay, so that's a lot of envelopes. So you have one of them here, but thinking about what's your goal. So when you think about your networking and you decided to come here, what is your goal? You know, what do you want? Why is networking important? Why are you doing it? Who would you like to meet? Your networking goal could be, you know what, I want to become more comfortable networking online. I want to meet more people when I go into a room and feel like I've made a good connection and have a process for doing that. Or your networking goal could be, I need to double my sales or my pipeline because I've got to get some business happening. So I want you to think about what your goal is and just write to yourself. You don't have to share it with anybody, but take a moment, jot down what's your goal? Why are you here today to learn about networking? And then it'll anchor everything we're going to do for the rest of the session. All right, so anybody here in the park office, or can people respond in? Do they respond in?
They can.
They can? Okay, so would anybody like to share what their goal is? Maybe you're looking to meet a specific person, or you have a goal and you feel comfortable sharing it with the group.
It blends into many goals, but
Okay.
I invented a device that treats carpal tunnel. My goal is to sell 1 million of them over 10 years, and in the process of that, help fund Eagles Healing Nest up in Sauk Center, which is a place for veterans to live, and then also to fund Pain Free Patriots, which I'm a chiropractor, and we treat veterans for free, so that helps fund the
Excellent.
veterans to be able to get outside of the box treatment that they wouldn't otherwise have through the
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. And in there, the goal is to sell a million.
Million.
What is the networking goal? What, like relationships, or is there a goal in there of?
Of like going through, right now I'm working with a gentleman to develop, where to go with it on eBay, not eBay, but Amazon,
Amazon, yep.
right? So we figured out how to go about doing that. And the other thing I'm having trouble with, if anybody knows, I need to get these things built in America, and the only place I can get them built, packaged, and shipped, and kept track of is from China.
Okay.
So anybody know anybody in America takes it from all the way through?
Okay, so
to make
say
it cost
it one more time, because there was a lot of information in that goal. So say
Right.
one more time, what is the
One-
product? Because then you have
Product is-
20 people
the
here that may
product.
know somebody. So this is networking real time.
Right. The product is, I call it My Arm Doctor. It basically is a device that treats carpal tunnel or repetitive stress for the arms. It's only a $6.7 billion problem in this country. And if I can sell 1 million of those, the fee right now is about 169. But if I have to go to the States to get them, it might go up. I'm trying to find
So
somebody
do
that
you
can
need a
build the
plastic? Is it made out of plastic or?
Yeah, it's made out of polycarbonate, so it's a it's expensive, so it needs to be drilled. It's I got all the engineering done for it already.
Okay.
I'm just looking for somebody that can put it together, package it, to be built at home, and then label it, and then manage the distribution.
Okay, so you need, so the great
I need
example,
that
you need
whole
some
process.
people in the network there. Thank you very much for sharing that. And then that's why I'm picking it apart, because partly when you say your goal, not everybody can track what it is you're trying to do. So I have people that say, they'll say networking, I'm looking for business. If you know anybody that would be good to work with me. Okay, this is a woman, she's in med tech, healthcare devices, she wants clients, she does consulting. And I said to her yesterday, I said, if you say to somebody, if you know anybody, I'm looking for more clients, I said, they're gonna glaze over. It's too broad. Can't help you with that. So partly thinking, how can I make it more specific? So I said to her, I said, you've got to give them something. I'm looking for a med tech company that's in the space of 10 million to 50 million. I'd love to talk to the CMO of that area or the operations person. People need a little bit more specific, because then they can get to, okay, oh, I may know somebody, or I don't, but I have a friend who used to work at Medtronic and now they're at this company and you should connect with them. So that goal can come down. Anybody, one more?
I have one.
Okay.
I'm in a career transition right now. So my networking goal is to expand my network, and I'm getting trained right now in project management and Scrum. And my question for you is that too vague? I've been using that, and I'm now wondering after you just said that may be too vague to go that route.
I think it works because you're saying project management and Scrum, but I think people need a little bit of, you could tell them, I have experience in X industry, but I'm open to advertising and marketing, or giving them a little bit of context. So I think it works, but if you're getting that look of people don't know, then try to make a connection of, well, you know, they're involved in I've done work in manufacturing. I'd like to explore that some more. So giving people an anchor so they can go back and think, oh, do I know somebody there? Do I know that?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I wrote down was basically to be a part of a community and individuals, so that I could get referrals for my business.
Excellent. Okay, so part of community might be, one, you're in a great community here at Office Centers because there are 6 different locations and lots of different people, and a portal where you can share what it is you do. I might put with your goal a little more, what kind of community or what is your business, so that other people can say, oh, well, you should be connected with people that are all in financial services, or have you joined this organization? So when you're thinking about joining communities, and we'll talk about this with the people you need to know in your network. You want to, like attracts like. So if you can say to people, I'm in healthcare, then they can help point you to where the healthcare businesses are. So here we've got probably a lot of different businesses represented, but then there are lots of associations that we can get to. So great goals. These are great goals, and I'd encourage you to put a specific. So you had a goal, and within 10 years, and there was a lot in there. I would say for a job search Tuesday, I'm looking to meet with people over the course, between now and the end of the year. If you know anybody, I'd love to follow up. Help people see that my goal has a deadline, has an area in it, and for your own self, it will work. Okay, I want to get my LinkedIn revamped by the end of the year so that it looks good, or by the end of the week, or I want to go to 4 networking events over the course of the next month. So thinking what it is. Met with another woman yesterday. Her goal is 10 meetings a week because she's in career transition. She's trying to figure out what's next, and she had some specific goals. I was like, 10, that's a lot. She goes, no, actually, I can do 10. Like, I can't do 10. 10, I'm tired because you have to do prep work. You have to do all that. Anyway, so there's our 25 million envelopes. Next section, knowing yourself. Anybody in the room taking the Strengths Finder? Awesome. About half the room. I love Strength Finder. I did this at Best Buy. It's an easy book you can buy online or you can purchase it. What it does and why I like it so much is it tells you the things that you do so naturally that you don't take them for granted. So you may be a really strategic person and extremely analytical, and you just think, oh, everybody does that. Or you don't know how to articulate that that's your superpower in a way that other people can understand, or that it's long. You give a long explanation of all the things you've done because you're giving your whole career trajectory. So I put Prince up there because I think he really figured out how to play to his strengths. If he had shown up as Roger Nelson, the kid from St. Paul Central, and with the talent that he had, he might not have cracked out as much as he did. Wearing all purple, calling himself Prince, changing his name to the artist formerly known as Prince, doing all these things that really made him mystical, magical and memorable. And we don't all have to be rock stars, but you want to know what your superpower is. What is it that I do? What is the words that I have that when somebody talks about me, they say, thing. So even I cringed a little bit when they started to talk about in my bio that I'm competitive and that I love sports, yet that's one of my strengths is I'm really competitive. So I want all of you to win at whatever your networking goal is, but not everybody may be that way. So I have to figure out, okay, how much competition can I, exert on other people? What does that look like? So knowing your strengths, knowing those words, because other people will start to talk about you for that. So let's take another 2 minutes. Write down what you think your keywords are. If you're not sure what your keywords are, this can be your homework assignment for later, is go back and read endorsements. Read the emails that people have said good things about you. Look at something that you did that you were really proud of and be like, well, why was that so good? What was that about it? I'm a really good connector, or I'm really creative, or I keep things humming along. What are those words? And you can use your own words. You don't have to use their language. So let's take another 2 minutes, and then again, talk to the same person about what's one of your keywords. And I'll give you a little music. I should get Prince in there. That's a good idea. I should do that. I'll see if I got one. Some of his stuff might be a little.
Dealer, fixer.
So,
More efficiently.
you need more time? Need more time? Okay. We're gonna, so keywords is something that you wanna think about as you go out in your networking, as you look at your LinkedIn profile, as you look at some of your marketing materials. Are you consistent in those keywords? Are you showing up consistently so that when people meet you, you can have them play that back to somebody else, or they can get a sense of what is it that you're doing? What are you working on? So knowing your keywords is a great exercise because you want to know your brand too. So I show LinkedIn on here. We could spend a lot of time. Sorry, I'm off the things. Told you I was going to be in trouble. Looking at your LinkedIn is where you want to see, does your brand show up? Does it align with what your goals are? Are there your words in there? So I'm a coach. I help develop people. And yet for a long time on my LinkedIn, I didn't always have the word coach in there. So think about how would people search for you? How would they look for you? Is your brand consistent on that part? And you can go through it. I see people print it out, look at it, imagine you're coming to it new and seeing what it looks like. It's an easy exercise to do this. I take people through a 10-point assessment. This is one of the steps. And you want to look to decide, is it there? When you have the people also viewed section, that's a place to see, okay, they click on me and then they go look at all these other people. Do I look like them? Again, back to my competitive nature. Am I better than them? Why am I different? There are a million coaches out there. What makes me unique at working with other people? What makes you the amazing project manager that you're going to differentiate yourself from all those other people? So there's a lot you can do around your brand when you're looking at LinkedIn. I also like LinkedIn for connecting and researching people. So when you're thinking, where do I find the right people that I want to meet with? Who are they? Looking to know ahead of time, what do they have that I don't have? What do we need? How do I need to complement? How can we partner with other people? So using LinkedIn can be really powerful. Because if you haven't Googled yourself, then we may not show up, like Harvey McKay shows up, but there are 398,000 sales books out there. And this book, Swim with the Sharks, was one of the top 10 inspirational books of all times. So what we want to do is to figure out how to play the game. And I know there's been lunches on using search and how do you show up in developing businesses. So Google yourself just to see what shows up. Is it consistent with your brand, or is it old information that you want to figure out how to do it? Or do you need more because the only thing that shows up is your website and your LinkedIn portfolio? So how do you expand what it is that you do or where you're going? So Googling yourself can be a really great way to find out, because we all have the same amount of time. So building a powerful network, building relationships can really increase your impact, okay? Because we want to speed things up. So years ago, when I reached out, I was working with all these clients. I knew that I wanted to expand my brand. Small business owner, entrepreneur. Yes, I'd worked at Best Buy. I was growing. And I'm like, I can't keep up with everything. So what did I do? I reached out to the Business Journal and said, could I ever write a column for you? I have some things to talk about relationships and networking building. Well, boom, all of a sudden, now I'm a columnist for the Business Journal. So start thinking a little bit, how can I speed up my time to let other people know about me? What can I do to reach out? Maybe you get involved in a committee, or you're on a panel, or, I'm here, I read the evaluation sheet ahead of time, but it says, are you interested in being a presenter? Well, if you decide you want to be a presenter here, that's a great way to have everybody know what it is that you do. And there's a big community here in Office Center. It goes online. It goes out into the internet world. Then other people know that you're known as a presenter. Once you start presenting, more people will call and do that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Presenter isn't here, like, what, you can come in here and present different things? Like if I wanted to bring in here and present how to treat carpal tunnel and take care of your carpal tunnel problems to reduce your overhead and your costs for work comp.
You'd have to talk to Lisa and Amanda, but they could hook you up.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. They're network. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only a $6.7 million.
Exactly. You said that. They kind of made me start to hurt a little bit. I was like, I want to check out your product. Okay, so thinking about
how do you expand? You got your keywords now, but now we got to talk about who are the people that are going to help you get that done. Who are the people that are in your top 25? So I like to think about if you send out holiday cards, and if you're a little disorganized like me, you may reach that point in the holiday card process where you have more names than cards, and you're not quite sure what to do. And so then you start editing and sifting and figuring out, well, that person I see a lot, they don't really need the card, or I haven't talked to them for a while, and boom, 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 there go a couple people. We want to be the reverse. We want to be proactive and thinking, who's our top 25? Who are those people that I do business with, that they refer business to me, that they connect me, or maybe they'd be a good person to talk to for business development, or you mentioned you want community. Where's that community? So you may not have all these people in your network right now, but you want to think, who am I spending time with? So when I go through this exercise, and I'll have you write down probably 5 to 7 names just in the sake of time. Look at who have you met with in the last month. Look at your emails. Look at the people that, you know what, these are my best allies. Who's in that top 25? These are the people that they're your sales force, they're your support system, they're your way to get your job done and to meet those networking goals. So again, let's take a minute, just write down a couple of those names and start thinking, who's in my top 25? Who are those people? So Lori Spees, Amanda, Lisa, everybody from Office Centers, they're in my top 25. I've been here for 10 years now, I think, and the team answers my phone, helps me when we need copies, when we have to do stuff, greets everybody. That's in my top 25. I couldn't be doing my business without that support system. So write down a couple people that you're thinking about, and that's what we got.
That we're thinking about, or
that you
would
have.
like to?
I would say let's write down now who you have. If you think who you would like, put that a little bit lower because that's the next exercise. I should show them how I know how to jump. Don't want to be distracted. Okay, so I'm going to keep us going on this because top 25 is an exercise you can spend a lot of time with and look at and really be thoughtful with, because once you have that list of your top 25, we want to start ranking them. And you don't rank them and then show them what your list says. Okay, you can do that, but I think you want to rank them because you want to know, do these people help me accomplish my goals? And do I help them accomplish their goals? Is it reciprocal? And what do I need to do to shift that relationship? So I've got a few examples up here, but what I think about is, that person that, we do a lot of business together, or they're really, an ally. Maybe they're a 2 or a 3. But I really think we could have a stronger relationship. What can I do to encourage that development? Do I need to call them up? Have I taken a little bit? I think what happens is the more we get to know the top 25, sometimes we take them for granted and we don't necessarily, love them up enough and really build and foster and nurture those connections. When you're with somebody and say you wrote them on your top 25, but you go, you know what? I don't really like that person. I'm not sure I really want them as a client anymore. Not sure they're aligned with my values or what I'm doing on. It's a tough decision, but you can decide, you know what? We're going to go our separate ways on that. They were a 2. I wasn't sure about it. How do I gracefully exit out of that relationship? And that's okay. But knowing that top 25 spot, those are reserved for those primo people that you really want to do things with. Play up is the concept you're referring to in the back of, I need somebody to get my goals done. I need somebody new to work on my speaking. I need somebody new to connect me to a good, powerful community. I need somebody that, you know what, they work in a large company and maybe they're in that project management area, to use your example. I'm not sure who they are, but I'm going to go on LinkedIn and I'm going to search project managers, and then I'm going to find somebody else that is connected to them that can introduce me. So I keep a file of people that I would like to meet, people that I want to know, or the person that I go, you know what, I think that person would be the right person for me. So like, I'm very curious about licensing. How do you license some of your products, some of your content ideas? So sure enough, I'll put on Play Up. I really am looking for this person. Next time I'm meeting with somebody in my top 25 or I'm at an organization, out of my mouth comes, I need somebody who does licensing. And you can find that person to Play Up. And Play Up is a concept of, if you want to get better, play up. Play with somebody that's a little bit better. You'll learn new things. And what I find, the more successful people are, often the more helpful they can be. They want you to succeed. They want to, good question.
So you had kind of touched on or if things are reciprocal and are we helping each other. So it's okay for it to be kind of more for your needs in the beginning, and then maybe as a relationship forms, then you'll uncover how you can help them too, or you just not worry about that. You're looking at your goals and here's a person to facilitate that.
I try to do, it's a great question. So the question is, what do you do about reciprocity? And is it more about you at the beginning, or are you offering with them? I love when people ask me, especially if we've had a networking conversation or we're meeting on something, they say, what can I do to help you? It makes me think that, you know what, they get it. This is about exchange. You know, it may not be perfect and maybe they don't have anything that they need my help with, but I help people foster those connections. So
even if you're playing up and you maybe feel like you don't have much to offer at that point, still asking does a
yes,
lot.
still asking does a lot, because you know what I find? So I'll deal with people. So I have a client, an older gentleman. You know, at first I was like, how am I going to be at all helpful to him? You know what? Terrified of LinkedIn. Wanted to know what Snapchat is. Doesn't have a teenage kid, you know, doesn't know what that is. Doesn't know how to use some of those things. So it may not be sort of the exchange of business per se, but it could be knowledge. It could be a connection. So I think it's okay, you know, it's okay. You do have something to offer them. You just may not know exactly what it is. Great question.
I have a question. I had an informational interview this morning, and I wasn't sure if how I worded it was a cop-out. So I said at the end of it, if you've heard anything during the conversation that we've had today, or you can think of something even down the line, I would love to be able to help you. And I would love to be able to reciprocate and return that favor and help you build your network and reach your goals.
Okay, say that again. You said if you have something,
If you've heard anything during our exchange today that you know I can help you with, or something comes to mind down the road, I would love to be able to return the favor and help you.
I think that sounds great. I don't
Okay.
think that's a cop out. You were both networking, or they were in a position.
He did me the favor of giving me an informational interview, and he was giving me information on being project management in an industry.
Yeah. No, I think to me, it's about saying, I'm thankful for your time and I appreciate what you did with me. And if you think of anything, you know, and then did he say anything back, or did he?
He said thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think a lot of people are not as accustomed that the person will actually ask for you to help them. So I wouldn't take it as you did anything, you know, wrong there. I would just think they may not know how to do that. So because it takes time to build relationships too, you know, so he may just be like, oh, I got to think about that, or you can follow up or check back in. If it's a contact you want to have in your top 25, you check back in and say, hey, I noticed this, thought this might be interesting to you. Here's an article. or something to stay connected because you're building that relationship. So no, I think it's a great example of it. Okay, so we got to come up with somebody to play up. We're building to who's your top 100. So in the groups that I run, we help people build who their top 100 list is. And a lot of people, especially when they're early in their career, go, Kathy, or Paper, everybody calls me Paper. They go, Paper, I have 42 people. I failed. I'm like, you have not failed the exercise by having 42 people. You have started to build. Having 100 is a lot of people to manage and to work through. So when LinkedIn, our goal was always, we got to get over 500 people. It's not about that. You're not going to do business with 500 people, most likely. But you want to be thinking, who's in my top 100 and what's my process for connecting with them? Who are they? What's their score? You don't have to score them all, but you want to know. Because some people may fall off the list. They may do something and you're like, you know what? You're going to ruin my reputation. We're not going to do business together anymore. Or you want to know, what's your next step with them? What are you going to do to solidify that or to keep that relationship going? So the next time they invite you to something, will you go because you haven't seen them for a while? So they invited you to this event, which I highly recommend going to events together with someone because you have more fun. You can both set goals and go to an event and thinking, what's your next step? So in my top 100, I try to stay in contact with them. So when they invite me to something, and if I haven't seen them for a while, I will go. I will make that extra effort to connect with them. Well, I have a t-shirt on there is because that's one of my things is making a connection and having something that people get. Thank you for doing that. So I'll show you that at the end. So how are you going to track this to build your currency? Because I do think the phone is underrated. So we send a lot of emails, we do a lot of outreach on the technology, the phone and face-to-face. If you can get back to some of that, those people are probably going to be a 3 or a 4. When they grab your call, when they follow up with things.
What I find is that the more you email, the less response you get back is because what do you guys do with your emails? Most of my stuff spams, and sometimes the people I'm trying to contact ends up in spam. I got to go through my spam stuff to try and find the person I'm actually want to talk to.
Right.
So it's usually just get rid of. And so that's
right. So that's why I say is sort of knowing your process or knowing how do you build. I consider myself a little bit more, I don't know if it's old school or traditional. When people text me too soon in our getting to know each other, I'm like, oh my God, don't text me yet. Hold on a second. Don't text me yet. But it's just knowing what is it that you're doing and how are you building that. So here's an example of how somebody reaches out and builds the connection. Because part of this is as you're building a new relationship or even an existing relationship, are you making it easy for people? Are you telling them how are we connected? Hey, I was introduced to you by Russ. Russ said we could talk. Here's my phone number. Here's when I'm available for these times. All these types of steps along the building relationships show how you do business and how you make connections. And you want to be thinking about how do I show up. Here's a few examples of making connections. If you want, you can take a picture of it. But it's thinking about what do I do? Because you have to take action to build some of these relationships and to have them go to the next level. And I'm totally open for ideas. I've got 2 points on there. I think these are areas where when people are networking, they, I don't know if it's full on anxiety. I think you wonder, I'm not good with names. Well, when you meet somebody, say, hi, and I'm Kathy, nice to meet you. Or I know I'm not great with it sometimes. So I'll say, hi, I'm Kathy, it's nice to meet you. We met before, and I'll say it again. So you get over all that embarrassment and say, you know what, I want to know you. I want to know you by name. Follow up after the event. I like to say build relationships from the inside out. Let somebody know something about you. I think sometimes we get trained and think, okay, we have to be really professional. I have to give my 30-second elevator speech. I've got to talk to them. And you never say, you know what? I really like that purse you have. Or, oh, you're a mom? I'm a mom too. Can we talk about that? So just try to decide what's that, kind of human connection that you want to make when you're making connections with people. That helps with things taking action. Okay, we talked about I did play rugby. That secret's out. This is the All Blacks. Okay, they are the best rugby team kind of in the country. And what I love about rugby, and this is the piece that is really important, that is when you play rugby, you say things to the person as you're about to pass the ball to them. You say with you and with you. So they're running along the field and there are usually 3 or 4 people kind of yelling with you. You hear the person that's right next to you saying with you, meaning if a bunch of big guys come and want to tackle you, like right there, he can pass the ball to the guy right behind him. They're with them. So what you want to start thinking about is, who are these people in your top 25 that are with you? Who are the people that as you're doing business, they're running along with you? They will take a hit for you, or they will help you do that. And you want to build your team of people that will help you accomplish those goals on there. So we don't all have, may not have 15 people that you can say, hey, I'm with you, but business has ups and downs, and you want people that are trusted and that you can really connect with, or that they can connect you. So when my network people come to me and say, Kathy, my kid needs a job, will you connect me to somebody? You know what? Of course I will. I'll make that connection and help with that because we're with them. So a few more ideas on what you can do to take action. You want your goal to have those action steps to make it and to build it. There's a lot of information here to be able to do that. But I like to say, go to lunch with somebody different. I used to do a lot of lunches and a lot of networking, and after a while, you start to think, I can't drink one more cup of coffee. So put a group together and say, hey, I think you might really like meeting these people. So 4 times a year, I'll put together a luncheon to connect people to one another. Makes it a lot more powerful, and then not all the pressure is on you to have that one-on-one conversation with people. Make sense? So let's jot down 1 or 2 actions of things you're going to take. Maybe you're going to go back and look at your top 25, or you're going to look at your LinkedIn, but I want you to all walk away from today's session with something that you're going to go do. So let's take another, I'll do just a minute, quick minute, and write down what actions you're going to take. All right, so you've got your actions, you've got your things that you're going to do. Oh, here's a whole nother list. You can have some more things on there to what are the things you're going to do. Asking for the business, asking for the connection, making sure you know people well enough to be able to let them do that. Because, back to our opening statement, whether you're a pebble or you're a rock, you want to think about that impact. How do you show up? The more you put your 25 pebbles and rocks together, the bigger splash you make. The bigger an impact you make, the more your network helps you accomplish your goals. So I mentioned the t-shirt, and I'm going to show you this because these are for Amanda and Lisa. I give people the I'm a kind of a big deal t-shirt. I don't think we should take ourselves too seriously, but I do think sometimes you got to say, you know what? This is my strength. This is the value I have to offer when you show up and meet somebody and you talk about that. So Amanda and Lisa, this is for you guys. Thank you, and thank you very much for having me today.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Wow, was that like the best networking workshop ever?
Yes.
How many golden nuggets did we get? Lists and lists and lists and pictures with lists.
good.
It's all good. Thank you so much.
You're
Deb. She has to be on a plane at 3:00, so you're gonna be buzzing out of here in a few minutes. But I wanted to just tell everybody, office centers, we are raising the roof pretty much on a daily basis, aren't we, guys? And there's lots of stuff happening in November. We just had our big Halloween party, and we were all in costumes on Tuesday. So we didn't have the costumes today because we were all in on Tuesday. I tell you, I was a nice witch. So coming up next week, next Tuesday, our Google guru, Ben Tice with Swell Marketing is going to be talking at Woodbury Office Center from 10 o'clock to 11:30 on SEO 1.0. He's awesome. Come see him and come see Woodbury Office Center. We rock it there. We usually have 10 people register and 40 show up, so it works out slick. Thursday, November 5th, we're going to host, that would be November 3rd, Tuesday. I'll add you, we'll talk and I'll add you to our list. And you'll get all this right in an email this afternoon. Thursday, we have our park networking. That's going to be next Thursday. That's the 5th. We've also partnered now with a group called AGC, the Accelerated Global Connections Group. We are just loving it. On the 12th of November, it's a Tuesday, we host at the Minnetonka location. It'll be our third time, and we had about 60 people there last time, and we're anticipating a lot more. The following week, we're at that same event at Woodbury, and we had, well, between the two, it's going to be 75 to 100 people in both locations. So we'd love to have you come check those centers out. Let's see, Slice of Woodbury, that's another one that we have on the 19th, and then we're back to, well, then it's the end of the month already again. So that's all good. But you guys, 7 locations. For any of you that are here that don't know exactly what we do, we have the full-time office space, shared office options, as well as virtual plans. So anybody that's working from home and going to Starbucks to do their business, you drink free Starbucks here, and you get a community to work with. So.
And tea and good
And,
tea.
and good Tazo tea. We serve